Okay, this is lesson 5. So in school, those students who are in school will be drawing out one of their chosen net designs that they did previously on the computer, then printing it out and then modelling it. Obviously, if you're at home isolating, then you're not going to be able to do this on the computer because we need the software. So you can make a model and bring it in, and we can use those dimensions to refer to when we come to draw up your net on the computer. So I'm going to be using this one to begin with. So I'm trying to make this design using these dimensions. So you can either make it out of paper, so we've got some paper here, or which is a bit more rigid, you can use any card that you might have. So we've got some duplex board here which has been printed on one side, and then on the other side we've got this grey surface here. So in terms of equipment, you can either use glue, I've got some sellotape here, a pair of scissors, a pencil, a ruler, and it might be beneficial to have some form of set square. That might help you as well, but it's not absolutely essential. So if we try and make that net, so I've tried to trim it off the packaging, so I've tried to give myself a right angle down here. Not done a great job over here, but it's better than this side here. So I'm going to use this side as my what we call a datum, my reference on here. So remember there are some restrictions. We can't go for A4, so I'm going to measure with my ruler. So according to my design, it's 60 millimeters in one direction there. And then I'm going to try and measure. Now, ideally, if I measure up here, I'm assuming that this is at a right angle. Now, if it's not, what you can do is create something with a right angle, like your set square, or you could use a book. That will be cut accurately. You could place this on here and then draw your line upwards like that. Alternatively, if I place this here, I'll measure 60 again. And then if I was to find something with a straight edge, so this time we've got a DVD cover here, good old Star Wars. If I place that on the edge there, like that, and then make sure it's square to that, and then draw that line upwards, if I didn't have a set square. And then if I do that again, so I'll do 60, and this time I'm going to use my set square. So place my set square on the edge there and measure that up. Or you could do it this way, provided that the other line was accurate. So you go 60 here, and then we can measure along the top here and measure 60, and then draw your line down. Okay, now we said that it's going to be, looking at my design, we said on here, we said it's going to be 200. So I'm going to measure 200 up here. Now I've got a problem because my card isn't 200. So I'm going to have to go for the maximum here for the restrictions of the material. So I'm going to make it 180. So if I put 180 there, or 18 centimeters, so if I measure it on each of the lines, there we go, and across this section, and across here. So remember, you can do this out of paper as well. So with my ruler, or anything with a straight back, I can draw that line across. So I'm just missing my gluing tab. So on here, you want to make your gluing tab about 10 millimeters. If you do anything thinner than that, and particularly when we come to use card, by the time we fold it, it's going to be, let's say it was 5, it'd end up being about 3 millimeters, and it wouldn't have enough area to glue. We're just going to put a little drafted edge in here, which will aid with the assembly, and then we're just going to cut it out. Okay, so when you're cutting with your scissors, try and cut close to the pivot point. It's a bit more accurate that way. So you don't have to go all the way to the end of the blades. So we cut that, there we go. And then trim that bit off. And then cut along this part. There we go. Now when it comes to what we want to do is fold them, but we want to crease them. So if you have a biro that's, it doesn't actually matter actually in this case, but if it's a biro that's got ink in it or a biro that's run out, you can just run that along the edge and it will not only, in this case, put the ink in, but it will also weaken the card. Or you can use your scissors. If you just open up your scissors, so you don't want to cut through this, just be careful what you're cutting through underneath. You don't want to damage your table underneath there. So if I place that on there, just score that edge, and the same with that one. Down the edge, there we go. And then we fold them over. So if you have some glue, and fold that. So if you have some glue, a Pritt stick will do. You could glue that down the side, or, which I don't have any glue, we could use some tape So if I was to apply a little bit of tape to the edges here and here, we could then, because it's a four-sided shape, it's symmetrical, so I should be able to fold it directly over like that, and then fold those sections over there. So this is your opportunity now. If it's, for instance, if it's too small, you could then make it bigger, do another one, so you model it. If it's too big, then you can always adjust it that way. If you want to change the shape of it, so if you, for instance, to make it a bit more interesting, you might decide, well, actually, I'd like a little cutout here at the bottom. That might make it a bit more interesting. So we could, I don't know what it's going to, so I might say, I'm going to cut a little arc here. So you're asking the question, what happens if I do this? Does it make it a better design or a more accurate design? So if we stand that up now, you can see what that looks like. Does it make it a bit more interesting having that curve on the bottom? So your task is to try and make a model, a tangible model, one that we can handle. And then if you bring that back in when you're next in, we can use this as a reference for the dimensions. So I'm just writing on the sizes as to how big each of the panels is going to be. So remember, you can either make it out of card, some scrap card, or you can make it out of paper. Either will do. There we go.